What's up, guys? George back again to do another video. This one is for the Record Store Day preview for April 21st, 2018. As of this video, we're about a month out from Record Store Day this year. I got the list about a week ago. We've gone over the list a few times and completed our order today. I found this list quite interesting. Over the last couple years, the lists have not been good, I don't think. I've only picked up a handful of titles here and there. I know I say it every year. I go into Record Store Day really not with a big list of stuff to purchase, but I always end, once I see it and read the backs, and I always pick shit up. But this year's interesting. There's some interesting titles on it. It seems like there's going to be a little bit of stuff for everybody, for all types of music, which is normally the case. But the ones for me that I'll probably order, that I'll probably pick up if we get them in, because obviously I think we did a 500-piece order for our shop. However, we'll probably get 70% of that, which is the case every time we do it. We did order a little more than we normally have over the last few years, just because the releases, I think, are better for this Record Store Day. But I'm just going to run through a couple of them here that I'm interested in picking up. You could find the list on recordstoreday.com. It's up there now, so it's public knowledge now. But one thing that looked interesting to me is the first thing I thought looked interesting was the AC/DC Back in Black on cassette. I'm not sure why they're releasing it on cassette, but there's going to be 2,500 copies of that one, and it's cheap. It's under $10, so. The next thing that I was looking at and looks interesting on Sunday's music is Chuck Berry's Greatest Hits. There's going to be 1,350 copies of that. New artwork, mastered for vinyl. I'm not sure the track listing as of right now, or if it's a reissue just with a different cover. That I'll have to look into. But Sundays always does good quality stuff, so I might pick that one up. Also, there's I probably won't buy these, I probably won't pick them up, but there's a few new David Bowie titles. One called Bowie Now, which I think was an EP. Welcome to the Blackout, live in London 1978, which is a 3 LP set, and Let's Dance, full-length demo, 12-inch. So for your David Bowie fans, there's some stuff for you on here. One thing that looks really interesting, however, it's expensive. I will not be picking this up at all, I don't think. I hope not. Anyway, but it's Johnny Cash's Live at Folsom Prison, the 50th Anniversary Legacy Edition. 5 LP box set. There's only 2,500 copies of it. I probably won't pick that up. I have a feeling that they're going to, unless they already have released that on CD. It's a great live album, though. Celtic Frost, Tragic Serenades, EP, picture disc EP, 2,500 copies. Probably won't be getting that one, because I'm not into picture discs. But a couple other things on here. You get the Circle Jerks gig, called Gig on Legacy, 3,000 copies of that. I guess it's a live album. And these are all the exclusive ones. Then I'll go through I think they have like the regional ones or something. And again, these are stuff that I'm interested in. I'm not going to go through the whole list. Like I said, you can find the whole list on recordstoreday.com. Another one that I'm interested in, Is Bo Diddley's 16 all-time greatest hits. Again, another Sunday's Music one. That one's only 1,350 copies. I think the same as the Chuck Berry. Yeah, the same as the Chuck Berry one. Again, new artwork, mastered for LP, colored vinyl, all that shit. So I'll probably be picking that one up. The Doors, The Matrix Part 2. I picked up The Matrix Part 1 last year, but I ended up selling it, so I probably won't get Part 2. The Part 1, I'm not a huge live album guy, so I like the rare track stuff, so I probably won't be grabbing that one, but that one sounded interesting. This one I really want to get my hands on is The Dwarves, Lucifer's Crank on Anticorp. It's an EP. There's only 1,800 copies of that one. I love The Dwarves, so hopefully we'll get that in. I did order that one. Guess that's it for that page. Next one I'm interested in is Government Mule, Girl with No Self-Esteem, 12-inch. There's only 2,000 copies. Unreleased track with, I think there's 2 unreleased tracks on that from their current album session. So we'll see if we get that one. That one's on Fantasy. And then for you deadheads out there, there's the Fillmore West San Francisco 22769 4 LP box set. Jimi Hendrix Manish Boy with the flip side on that one. It's a 7-inch of Trashmen. I'll probably be picking that up because Trashmen is an unreleased track, at least an unreleased take of that song. There's 4,000 copies of that one. Led Zeppelin Rock and Roll and Friends 7-inch on Atlantic. From what I read, I think Rock and Roll is a different take, maybe, or maybe different mix. So we'll see when that comes in. That's one that I'm on the fence about. Living Color live at CBGB's 12/19/1989 on Legacy 2 LP set. 3,000 copies. That is interesting to me. I saw Living Color on that tour at Villanova University around the same time. It was right around Christmas, so I might pick that one up. It all depends. Again, price-wise, too. I got to see how much money I have, but that's one that I'm on the fence with, that I probably, give or take on that one. 2 new MC5 7-inches. I can only give you everything, and I just don't know on one for 1,300 copies of that. And the other 7-inch is Looking at You and Borderline. Again, 1,300. Actually, 1,350 copies on each one. For you Pink Floyd fans out there, Pink Floyd Piper at the Gates of Dawn, mono on Legacy. LP, there's going to be 6,000 copies of that one, so that I would imagine you'll be able to find pretty easily. Iggy Pop live at the Ritz 1986 on Culture Factory, 2 LP set. There's only 1,500 copies of that. I'm not going to bother with that one. This one sounds interesting to me. I might grab this one. This is more, I'm leaning towards more grabbing this one than anything, than most of the stuff I mentioned so far. But Elvis Presley, The King of the Ring, 2 LP set, 3,000 copies, and it's the comeback special with some extra stuff on there. I've always loved that TV show, The Comeback, 68 or whatever it was. I thought that was a great special. I just love the jam, like the round table jam that they did in the middle of the studio, that I thought was awesome. So again, it all depends on what's on it and the price on that one. Like I said, I'm on the fence with that one, but I'm leaning more towards picking that up. Prince 1999, the single LP version of that, which is basically like the hits off of that record. I'm on the fence with that. I probably won't get that one. There's 5,300 copies of that. One I'm definitely getting, the Ramones Sun Dragon Sessions on Sire, 5,300 copies. I believe it is the second album outtakes and unreleased tracks from that album. So I'll definitely be buying that. I usually get the only Ramones thing I did not pick up on a record store day was the 7-inch box set. It was just too expensive. Rolling Stones, their Satanic Majesty's Request on LP, 3,500 copy reissue with the what do they call it, the 3D cover or whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to be getting that one. I don't like that record that much. There's a couple tracks on there I dig, but I have an original, so I don't need that one. This one sounded interesting too, and I think this has already been out on CD, but the Smithereens Play Tommy on LP, 1,200 copies of that one. I probably won't pick that up. And this next one that I'm interested in, the Stooges, self-titled Detroit Edition 2LP set. Apparently it's different mixes. Again, it's one of those things. There's 3,250 copies, but again, it's one of those things that I have to see it and see what it is to make a decision, really, and the price. I like the Stooges, but I'm not a super fan, so it probably will not be coming home with me. This one looks interesting too. However, there was no track listing on it. It's a various artist piece. Gary Crowley's Punk and New Wave 2LP set on Demon Records. Again, I got to see who's on it. There's no totals of what's being pressed, or how many are being pressed, I should say. But we'll see. We'll see when that comes in. Voivod, Too Scared to Scream, picture disc. No interest in it because it's a picture disc. And then you have that's the end of that main list. Then you have the Record Store Day Limited Run regional releases, which never made any, I don't get it. I guess that's just the U.S. I don't know what the deal with that is, but there's a couple things on here that sound interesting. I definitely want to at least hear something off it. One is Beaver and the Trappers, Happiness is Heaven, and In Misery, a 7-inch, 950 copies. It's actually Jerry Mathers, the Beaver from Leave It to Beaver. He's the singer on that. I gotta hear that just as a. I'm just curious to hear it. I'm sure I can find it on YouTube or whatever, but other parts of this regional list that I'm probably going to pick up or at least look at. Good Rats, Tasty on Uncle Rat Music. There's 500 copies of that. I'm not sure about that one. Another picture disc, Morbid Angel, Kingdom's Disdain, 500 copies of that. Motorhead Heroes, 7-inch picture disc. That would be something that I would just buy just to have. But our cost on that Motorhead 7-inch for some odd reason is $27. So we didn't even order it. That's way too fucking expensive. It's offensive. I mean, you get other artists in this regional list, like, you know, Wynton Marsalis and Morbid Angel, Motorhead, Patton Oswalt, The Pagans, Plush, I don't know who that is, Question Mark and the Mysterians, Lou Reed and Chris Christopherson, which sounds interesting. The next one up that I'm definitely going to pick up if we get it in, Sergeant Saltpeter, Tales from the Toilet, on Union Square. Or no, that one's on, I'm sorry, Burger Records. It's a 10-inch, 500 copies. Sergeant Saltpeter was one of the original members of the Dwarves. It's the only reason I'm into hearing that. Teenage Bottle Rocket Warning Device, the 10th anniversary edition on Red Scare. 350 copies of that one. Again, I believe I have that on vinyl, the original, and it's cheap, so I might pick it up. We'll see. Johnny Thunder's So Lonesome, LP, 500 copies of that, which is outtakes from the So Alone album. That, if we get it, like I said, there's only 500 copies of it. If we get it, that's probably something I would definitely pick up. This other thing, there's only 400 copies of it, and we ordered quite a bit of them to try and at least get one or two in. To various artists, called Hillbillies in Hell, Volume 666, Country Music's Tormented Testament, 1952 to 1974, on Iron Mountain. That just sounds interesting. I'm sure there's some pretty killer shit on that one. I hope, anyway. Hopefully we'll get them. Various artists, Porn or Sonic, unreleased 70s porn music featuring Ron Jeremy. Enjoy the Ride Records. There's only 500 copies of that. I just think that sounds interesting, but something I probably will not buy. The Vapors Turning Japanese, 7-inch on Razor and Tie. Sounds interesting. We'll see. Then you have your Record Store Day first release. So that, normally to me, that tells me like these are all the numbered ones that will be reissued at some point down the road. You got the Dickie Betts Band live at the Lone Star Roadhouse. 2 LPs, 1,400 copies. David Bowie self-titled 2 LP set. 3,000 copies of his original first record. Allman Brothers live at the Atlantic Pop Festival, July 3rd and 5th, 1970. 4 LP box set, 3,000 copies of that. I have that on CD, so that's not going to be picking that one up. Johnny Cash, I Love You Because, and You're the Nearest Thing to Heaven, 7-inch on Charlie Records. Sounded interesting, but again, probably will not be getting that one. This one I'll definitely pick up if we get it. Def Leppard live at Abbey Road, 12-inch, 4,000 copies. It's super cheap. It's like $10 or $11 or something. It's a live EP from Abbey Road, which sounds interesting. It's unreleased. I think it was from 2012 or 2008, somewhere in there. Flamin' Groovy's Grease on Jungle Records, 2 LP set, 900 copies. That's a must for me. I just think it's early material that hasn't been available for a while. Then you have Jerry Garcia, Run for the Roses reissue on LP, 3,500 copies of that. I won't be getting that. I'm not a dead guy, so. Then you have other titles like Dr. Dre, Dre Day, Elvis Costello, Someone Else's Heart, John Coltrane, My Favorite Things. That's about it. And still on this first day release thing, Nas, the Fungo Bats Acetates, 2 LP set, 1,400 copies. That looks interesting. Everybody's been calling us about this one already, and I fucking hate this band. Fish, Billy Breathes, 2 LP set, 7,500 copies. Rob Bass, It Takes Two, 30th Anniversary Edition on LP, 2,000 copies of that. Everybody loves Rob Bass. It Takes Two and Joy and Pain. I always love Joy and Pain. I don't know why. It's just a catchy tune. And I'm not even a rap guy, but Small Faces, Lazy Sunday stereo mix, and 7-inch on Charlie, Soft Cell, Sun Volt, Springsteen's Greatest Hits 2 LP set on Columbia. There's going to be 5,000 copies of that. For all you Swifties out there, Taylor Swift, self-titled 1989 and Fearless Platinum Edition. I'm going to be getting all 3 of those. And Tad, Quick and Dirty LP. That looked interesting. Urban Dogs reissue looked interesting as well on Fallout, which is, I'm not even going to attempt to try to remember who that is. I know it's a couple guys from punk bands together on one album. The Who, The Kids Are Alright, 2 LP reissue, 3,000 copies of that. Star Wars, The Last Jedi, Walt Disney 10-inch, which they always do a Star Wars one every year. Neil Young, Tonight's the Night, live at the Roxy, 9,000 copies of that on 2 LP sets, so that should be easy to find. And that's going to be a big seller, I think, as well. Soundgarden, the A-sides on IGA, 2 LP set, 5,000 copies. I think that's the first time released in the U.S., if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, I mean, like I said, you can go on the list, find a list on recordstoreday.com. The stuff I'm really interested in, like I said, is the AC/DC cassette, the Chuck Berry hits, Bo Diddley hits, the Dwarves, Lucifer's Crank, Elvis Presley, King of the Ring, the Ramones Sun Garden sessions, or Sun Dragon sessions, my bad. Maybe the Punk and New Wave, Gary Crowley's Punk and New Wave 2 LP set. Maybe the country 666 set. Sergeant Saltpeter's a must for me. Johnny Thunders, probably. Teenage Bottle Rocket, we probably won't even get them. There's only 350 copies of them. Oh yeah, the Hillbillies in Hell, Volume 666. Flamin' Groovies, Grease, Def Leppard, Live at Abbey Road. I think that was about it for me, which is more than usual. And I think at this point, I really doubt we're going to see all of, or at least I'm going to see all of them. If I do, I'll be broke for that week, or for that month, I should say. Cheers. But there's definitely some interesting stuff. Like I said, I'm more into the rare, unreleased shit. But sometimes I like picking up these best ofs with the different artwork and stuff that's been out of print for a long time, like the Dwarves thing and the Sergeant Saltpeter thing I never heard. And obviously that Ramones thing's a must. But anyway, check it out. RecordStoreDay.com has the complete list. Again, it's April 21st, 2018. So I'll be doing a video that day. Probably some video from the shop, and then a video of what I actually ended up picking up that day. So stay tuned for that. It's about a month out, a little over a month from now. But that's it. So anyway, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Let me know below some of the titles you plan on or searching out or picking up on Record Store Day. I can't wait till it's over. I really do hate that day, but being a record collector and a music lover, it's a tough day because I always say I'm not going to buy shit and then you get a list like this, which is, I gotta admit, it's a better list than it has been for the last 2 or 3 years. I think they should do away with the November one and just concentrate on this one. but it's all about making money. So, and some of the prices this year weren't too bad. Some of them were way ridiculous, like that Motorhead 7-inch. It's just $23 or $27 cost for a 7-inch. It's fucking stupid. I was hoping it was a misprint on the list and on the web, on our list, but it's not. Let's see. It is. Give me 1 second. Actually, it's not. It's $18.55. $22 list price. I don't know why I thought it was $27. Now this says 1,000 copies, but on this other list it says 500 copies. So that must mean 500 for the U.S. and 500 for the U.K. But $18.55 even for a 7-inch picture disc is stupid. But I'll get into that at another point. So definitely check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Let me know what you plan on picking up on Record Store Day, if anything. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but check out the complete list on recordstoreday.com, and I'll see everybody next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.